everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Noemi and today we're gonna do my January wrap-up. I'm gonna quickly chat about the 5 books that I've read in the month of January. Considering that I started uni in January and had to get used to a new schedule and everything, I'm very proud of myself for reading 5 books, and I gotta say I really enjoyed all 5 of them. The first book I've read was The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. That book is very popular, and Elena actually has another book coming up this year, so very excited about that. But overall, that book was so good. I loved it, loved every second of it. Even though it's a pretty big book, it's like 500 pages, I loved it. It was amazing. Basically, this is an enemies to lovers, fake dating kind of book. And it's also a very slow burn. Even though I usually don't like slow burns, this one was very good. So basically, Catalina, our main character, needs a date for her sister's wedding in Spain because she went through a very difficult breakup and she wants to show the family and the friends, everyone there, that she's okay. Which she's not really, but Aaron Blackford, the male main character, volunteers. He's like, yeah, I'll go with you to Spain, but they're a bit not very friends. They kind of dislike each other a bit. So Catalina's like, fine, but she's like, this is gonna be awkward. Obviously, this is a romance. They end up having a great time, and it was so good, so sweet, so cute. It does also deal with some very serious and important topics. For example, like body dysmorphia, toxic relationships, and illness in a family. I gave this star a 5 stars at the beginning of the month, and a month later, I still give it that 5 stars. Loved it. The next book I picked up in the month of January was Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is also a very popular one that came out years ago, and I never read it until now. This story follows Mar, or Mare, I don't really know how you pronounce her name, but she's basically from a poor family. She is a red blood, which means that she doesn't have any powers or anything as compared to the silver blood people. Eventually, she gets a job in the Silver Palace. I honestly can't remember how that happens, but she does. And in some turn of events, she ends up finding out that she does have a power that she's not supposed to have, and that power is pretty dangerous to anyone that comes across her. So because Mar's not supposed to have that power, and because the city or the kingdom is a bit, fragile between having the more powerful people versus the more normal people, the royal family decides to hide her in plain sight by making her a long-lost princess that just came back to the castle. Now, this book was supposed to have a big plot twist that everybody talks about, and I'm gonna be completely honest, it was a bit predictable to me, so I was a bit disappointed with that plot twist. But it might have been because, I expected a plot twist, which kind of took a bit out of the actual experience. But, still, it was a very fun and enjoyable book. And honestly, for the year that this came out, I can understand why people were freaking out about it at the time, but it really reminded me of Shadow and Bone, like the plot and the plot twist. When I've read it, I gave it a 4 star, but after about a month since I've read it, I actually downgraded it to a 3 star, so 3 star. And honestly, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna read the next books in the series, just because 1, it was an okay book for me, but also 2, I know a lot of people are saying that it doesn't get better, it just gets worse, kind of. So, I'm not completely DNFing the series, but for now, I think I'm gonna hold off. The next book I picked up in the month of January is Not Here to Be Liked by Michelle Quash, and that book was lovely to read. So fun and interesting, but it also dealt with some very serious and important subjects, which I'm going to talk about right now. So we have Eliza, who is a very hardworking person at this high school. I think she's like a sophomore. I'm not sure, but whatever. And she wants to be the next editor-in-chief at her school's Bugle. And she's pretty confident that she's gonna get the gig because to her knowledge, nobody else is running against her. That's until this other boy at school, Len, who's more popular but doesn't have as much experience as her as to edit, actually runs against her and wins. So Eliza has very strong angry feelings about that because in her head she's more qualified. She's been working at the Bugle for years and she really thought that she was gonna get the position, but she didn't. So instead of, you know, speaking out her words, she writes everything down on a document on a computer that's in the Bugle's office. So in that article that she writes, or this document, she talks about how she thinks that Len got elected because he's a boy and he's more popular, whereas she's a girl and she's more introverted. She talks about a lot of sexism that's current in their school. And of course, that article gets published anonymously and it goes viral. So now Eliza is kind of like the new face of feminism in that school. And it kind of divides the school in two, where some people are with Eliza and the other people are not, and they're with Len. And from there, Eliza and her friends, they organize a bunch of events to speak out about sexism at their school. That book will make you think about how it was at your high school. And obviously there's sexism in all schools, and it's as simple as girls can't wear tank tops. It's a sign of sexism in a school. And it really made me think about my own school and how it could have been sexist. And yeah, so this was a beautiful story, very well written, and like there was a little romance in there, which was also very sweet to read about. And it was very, very amazing to see all the feminist people in school come together and try to fix that problem. I gave that book 4 stars when I read it, and that rating still stands right now, so 4 stars. Next up, I've read Legend by Mary Lou, which was a very, very fun book to read after not reading dystopian books for like years. So in this book, we have a plague going on, and Day, our boy main character, is trying to steal cures to help his family and him through this hard time. At one point, he almost gets caught at the hospital, and that results in June's brother. June is our other main character. But her brother gets killed, and Day becomes the main suspect because they know he was there the night he was killed. So June is this very smart girl that got the highest score possible on these trials they have to take when they're 10. And since her brother was murdered, the government decides, okay, you're gonna become a soldier in training and you're gonna help us solve this murder. So she's assigned Day as her main mission. She needs to find him and turn him in. They soon both realize that the government is not to be trusted, and they work together to try and take it down. This book was really fast-paced and super entertaining, interesting, and I actually bought book 2 and 3 right when I finished it, so I'm very excited to read those 2 books as well. And finally, the last book I've read in January was actually my favorite of the month, and it became an all-time favorite. I love that book so much, and that is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I was a bit scared to go into it because I've read The Soulmate Equation last November and I really did not like it. So I was scared to get into this one and not liking it as well, but I loved it so much. This book has a fake husband and fake wife. It's an enemies to lovers. They go on a trip. It's perfect. So the book starts off at Amy's wedding. Amy is Olive's twin sister, and Olive is our main character. At the reception, everybody but Olive and Ethan, our main guy character, everybody gets sick, food poisoning, except these two. And since the honeymoon that Amy and her husband were supposed to take was free, she decided to offer it to her sister. Now, little does she know, the husband also suggested to Ethan to go on the trip. So now they're both going on the free trip together, but they kind of don't like each other. Not only that, but they have to fake at being newly husband and wives. So yeah, because if they stop pretending the trip's not going to be free anymore and they might be asked to leave. So just to have that wonderful trip, they decide to fake it, and it is a romance, so it gets good. They end up enjoying themselves so much, but it does get complicated when they meet people that they already know and they have to fake out being married. So, you know, a little bit of drama there, but so good. They are so hilarious together. This book as a whole is extremely hilarious, so funny. I don't think I've ever read a book that's that funny, except maybe the Brown Sister trilogy. But yeah, loved it. I gave it 5 stars. All right, you guys, that is all I've read in the month of January. I would love to know what you read in January and what book was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.